Hey everybody, this is Paul. I'm doing like a little impromptu dividend video, more like a dividend warning video on, being careful on if you're watching YouTube to get educational content about this type of stuff, just be careful of the sources. Try to be as transparent as possible. I list my income. Um, I list these different things right here, DoorDash income. It literally says earnings, deposit. Um, I even list out my debt, that type of stuff. I list out different ways that I might be able to use my dividends to pay my bills and whatnot. What I'm noticing more and more on YouTube is people that pass themselves off as, say, dividend investors. And the general idea is basically they start their channels as, I'm going to contribute money, and I happen to live in California, or I happen to live in such and such, and I have this money extra, and, I'm going to save so much up that, now I have passive, the passive income thing, right? I'm going to have $300 or I'm going to have $1,000, whatever your target is. And then they'll make like educational videos, and it'll be like, watch my journey. And then they'll start covering individual stocks and, individual ETFs. And they all kind of start to kind of overlap. I think what happened is basically a lot of people saw Joseph Carlson's success, and then Gen X Dividend Investor started his channel, and then we have different channels that are starting. So I want to kind of go over some just different things that I'm noticing on these different channels that I think requires a level of transparency that's not happening. Um, so I have all these different screens open. So let me show you the S&P right now, if my thing will load. So let's say the last month. Okay, so the S&P right here was at 436, and it's at 44.53. Okay, so at the beginning of the month, it was right here, 45.15, and now we're, as you can obviously see, lower than that. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go over one of the channels where I think things aren't adding up, and I want to start here. Dividendology, he can obviously, make a YouTube video addressing this. I even called him out in the comment section because something's not adding up here. So we have made his first 100,000. Last video was 2 weeks ago, 98,000. So that's 2,000 in 2 weeks. And then we scroll down, 88,000 1 month ago. So that's $12,000 in less than a month. And then if you just keep going, here's 2 months ago, so that's $20,000 in 2 months. 3 months, $1,000, 21,000. And then we go down here to 4 months. Now all of a sudden, from 69 to 100,000, so that's $31,000 in 4 months. 5 months ago, he was at 60,000, so $40,000 worth of money in 5 months. And every one of his videos is about a dividend stock or bank dividends. And in his last video that he made where he hit the 100,000, and he talks about how, I got that 100,000, and here's the Charlie Munger quote about your first 100,000 is the hardest. Judging from what I'm seeing here, your first 100,000 is actually the easiest. You made $40,000 and you added it to your account in less than 4 or 5 months. Don't know what happened. Joseph Carlson, same thing. So if we go to 1 month ago, it's kind of like, and I expect his portfolio to move around more because now he's kind of like, I don't think he's like contributing as much. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But the channel has done some very strange things that don't add up, just simply. And he can address this. Anybody can address this. 1 year ago, he was at 360. So 1 year ago, 360. And now he's at 505,000 on his videos. So 360, so I had 40. So in 1 year, he added $140,000 to his portfolio value. Does that sound like dividends? Does that sound like anything like that? Now, majority of his videos don't even mention the word dividend anymore at all. They're mostly educational videos. They're mostly like this type of stuff. But he does still push people into different stocks. Um, a long time ago, I don't think anybody had ever heard of Vici. So here's Vici, for example. $30 stock. This is really hilarious. So he posted about how he bought Vici, I think at something like the lows, some kind of crazy low. I think back here or something, or like it was some crazy number that he bought it at. He bought it like something crazy, like I forgot what he bought it at. It was like 20 bucks or something like that. And then he pushed it on his channel forever. Okay, it has a 5.38% dividend yield. It's an okay company. But if you're going for capital gains and you're pushing different stocks, imagine if any of his investors got in at 35. You've traded flat since July. Imagine if you got in right here at 32. I mean, I guess you would have dividend investing turned on, but still, if you're in this for capital gains, if you're hoping for capital gains from this, that ain't it, dog. This ain't it. Like 2021, and it's still worth the exact same amount. Um, there's a lot of stocks that he's gotten people into that people have followed him into, and as you can see, I think even Dividendology even had a video about it on here about Vici. Nobody talked about Vici before Joseph Carlson talked about Vici. I never heard of it. Like nobody brought it up at all. Um, it's just nobody really brought it up. Sorry, I had to drink some water there. But SCHD is another one. Like this guy right here has 35 separate stocks in this thing, and that's on you, man. That's all you. But Vici is his favorite REIT. What the hell is this? Um, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's basically it kind of starts from here and then it flows into the different dividend channels. And I think what I like to see on dividend or YouTube at least is people that post like their history. And if you add $400,000 to your account, for example, or 100,000 or 40,000 or something, post a video about why. Um, Gen X Dividend Investor has a video in here that he always refers people to, for example, where he sold a house, took the $400,000 and put it into his portfolio. In his videos, he mentioned, I gave a $100,000 loan to a friend of mine, or not a loan, but like $100,000 to help out a friend of mine. We we donate to charity all the time. People ask him, if you're not investing your dividends, what are you doing with them? He's like, I'm paying bills and I donate to charity because you have to offset your dividend income because he has over $100,000 a year in dividend income. But you can see the portfolio growth and you can see the transparency of where the money's coming from. My problem with a lot of these channels is they're selling a dream, but what's going on is every one of their videos, especially these two, start with subscribe to my Patreon, do this, do that, and then you look at the views and whatever, and you can tell they have different income sources coming in that they're just not stating. This isn't dividend investing. It's not. It's selling people a dream, taking the money and then investing it and saying, hey, look how good I'm doing. This has nothing to do with dividends. None of this. You can post videos all day that are educational, but you're not actually helping anybody. Like you're not telling the truth about what's really going on. So I guess the truth is I'm trying not to make this video too long, but the truth is this is not easy. I've contributed $14,000 this year. I've made about $23,000 in DoorDash income. I don't have a house payment. My house is completely paid off. I don't have a car payment. My cars are completely paid off. I do have other bills, as you can see here, that I very clearly list. I have a loan for fixing my bathroom. I've been very transparent that I've had just ridiculous amounts of dental work done, as you can see. That's the debt I carry. This is how much I put towards that debt every month. Here's all my stuff listed. If you're going to put yourself out there, then I think people really need to start putting themselves out there. I don't need to know who you have the loan through. I don't need to know who you have the credit card through. I don't need to know who your employer is. But if you're going to contribute 40 grand to your account in 5 months, then you have to list where it's coming from. You can't just keep telling people dividends this, dividends that, dividends this. Because if you want a good example of that on what you would need, because what I'll do is I will happily post this right here, and this is what I always wanted to make a video on. If you want to figure out what your retirement amount is, you type it in right here. Say that's how much you want to make. That's how much you're making an hour, for example. If you're comfortable with that, that's the goal you're going for. And then you just figure out what you would need. In my situation, that's about right here. That's in this area right here. 2,500 monthly. There's about 2,200. So this tells me I need to make about that much based on this amount right here with that dividend target. And that's a very risky amount that I have put in. As I get older, this is actually going to fall back and I'm going to put it into less risky stuff, like say this tech area right here, for example. But what I'm seeing right now is just people on YouTube telling just average people like dividends are the way to go and that's the only way to go. But not everybody has the ability to just pour money into the market the way that I am, for example. As you can obviously see, I pour money into the market. I have the ability to take 94% of my DoorDash income and stick it right into the market. Not everybody can do that, as you can clearly see here. You can pause and screenshot and look at this. You know, a lot of people have house payments, they barely have anything left over, so they have to decide where they're going to put their money. And most of the time, 99% of the time, for most people that have a rent, mortgage, car payments, a target date fund is your best option. But that doesn't sell, that doesn't get you to clicks. And I'm not referring to Gen X Dividend Investing. He's very straightforward. He's very clear about target date funds and how you should probably go for that if you don't have the ability. But this type of put it into Apple, put it into Vici, put it into SPHD. Here's my new investment into these two companies. They're leaving out just the amount of money, like put it into these 35 separate stocks. They're leaving out the simple fact that majority of the people can't do that, but they're getting these clicks. 99,000 views here, 40,000 views here, 69,000 views. That's income that he takes to pile into the portfolio, and then he'll post a video on a positive day in the market when he's up to 510,000. He won't post that video when he's down, really. But when you click on these things, you can kind of get the general idea. They're all following each other. Nobody has any independent thought in the dividend community anymore. Everybody's just copying each other's portfolios. I have never seen a dividend person ever talk about municipal bonds. This is literally tax-free income. That's dividend income every month. Nobody talks about this. They don't want to. It's just something that people don't talk about because they don't understand it. They don't understand how yield works. But I mean, there hasn't been really a dividend person who's like, yeah, I just piled $100,000 into my Fidelity money market fund. Have a nice day. See you in a year when the rates come down. I think people need to get educated on, like, I wouldn't say scam artists. I'm not going to use that word, obviously. I don't think it's a scam. I just think they have multiple sources of income that they need to disclose so that people understand, can I even do this? Do I even have a hope of doing this if I can only put $20 to my thing? Or should I just max out my 401k through my job? Yes, you should. To get the maximum match. So this stuff that's getting posted here needs to have like a disclaimer on it, because you're recommending specific stocks and people are following you into those stocks and then getting this is getting obliterated. When if people had just put this stuff into a target date fund, they would be much higher right now. Instead of just following everybody into Vici or some insanity like that, or SCHD, whatever the stock of the day is. So, if you have any comments, whatever, if you want to blast me in the comment section, go for it. But I think when you look at these videos, you have to look at their prior videos and be like, does this match up with reality? Is there just 10 grand that got added to the account? They just kind of didn't even mention it. And the market was down 2-3% for the week, but somehow they post a video and they're $10,000 up just out of nowhere. You have to ask these questions about where is the money coming from, and are they just selling people a dream on most of these videos? So Let me know what you think. Post a video, post a comment, and then we'll just go from there. Hopefully, it starts a conversation on YouTube where people become far more transparent. Thank you.